Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
We are creating conscious community by sharing mindful manifesting skills and transcendental music.
We are all in this together.
All right. Hi, everybody. So this song is a song I wrote for Lynn, and I've been working on it for probably the last 4 years, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 years. I put a fair amount of effort into it. It's in a 5/4 time signature, and the song is meant to express like Jay's entire life, from like being in the spirit realm to her life up till now. that's the idea behind it, and yeah. So here it is.
This is getting easier and easier.
Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
She's Jalen.
He's Monte. And we have Erin here with us today.
Thank you, Erin, for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Our special WDRT edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once a month.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the locals.
We love you. Yeah. So what did you just say about nowhere, now here?
Okay. Yeah. So, well, normally we talk about the Tao, but today we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to chat.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Open mic Sunday. How about that? Yeah. I was just sharing that this week I have been just listening to tons of Richard Rohr stuff. And one of the things he said is to focus like kind of a contemplation of God is now here or God is nowhere. And the two words now and here create nowhere. And so when we were just doing our little meditation, I focused on that. Like God is now here. And then on my out breath, I said, or God is nowhere. And to me, that felt like breathing in the presence and breathing out the past. I don't forward trip as much into the future as I trip into the past. So
That's interesting.
yeah. So nowhere.
It's good insight.
Yeah. Yeah. So nowhere to me feels like the past, where God really isn't present in the past anymore. He's only present right here.
Right here, right now.
It's true.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, there is no way to be anywhere but here.
I know.
Except our mind wants to think that we can, but it really can't.
Well, the energy is present.
Yeah.
All the chi flowing through the universe and through our bodies. That's present.
Of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's occurring in the present moment.
Right. And our mind, though, is created of a mix of everything. The past, the present, the future.
That choppiness.
Yeah, and just like straight up fantasy, which is
Right.
what is that?
Right. What is
That's
that?
it's sort of future, but not really.
It could be vision.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah, I
be.
think
Or
it's
there's
part of
analysis
manifesting.
too.
You have to kind of dream
Yeah.
of what you wish to manifest. But I think, I've been in the situation where fantasy is a product of trauma and just like imagining that there's a better world
It's a
out there.
crutch. Can be a crutch. Something you lean on.
Yeah.
Right.
A coping mechanism, basically.
Yeah, right. Or
Yeah.
just, it can be like a really intense habit. Some people are just in the habit of like living in a fantasy world. But again, it's like fantasy is important. Analyzing the past is important. Having a vision for the future is important, but everything needs to be in moderation because we need to have time in the present moment as well. And if the present moment gets bumped out,
Right.
our connection with the energy flow, the Tao,
With
whatever you
peace.
want to.
Our connection with peace is just not present if you're not connecting with the presence ever. And I think when I think about peace as God or the flow or the Tao or that's and you just can't connect unless you are in silence and solitude and presence and all those fun things.
Well,
The
not.
place of receiving.
I think we can connect when we're not in silence at times too. If we're in the flow,
Yeah.
if we're primarily in the moment, engaged in some aspect of the moment.
But I wonder,
Perhaps.
and I'm not good at it, at finding silence every day, although I'm getting better. But I think in order to connect, you have to have a pattern or a habit of finding that silence. Sometimes it's just moment to moment. It's catching your thoughts.
Right.
It's being aware and being like, oh yeah, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be here now.
Making the choice.
Yeah.
You're talking about metacognition,
Yeah.
being that witness to your thinking and finding the stillness. Ultimately, we want stillness between our thoughts. Like you have a thought, then you have some stillness. Then you have another thought, and then you have some more stillness. But we go nuts when we're just thinking. We go into agitation, and
get drained, we get worn out.
Oh,
Yeah.
it wears me out just thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. I
Blood
can feel it in my
pressure goes
muscles
up.
just thinking about all the thoughts, the patterns, the
Oh,
rumination.
yeah.
Yeah.
The rumination, and when you think about an animal and what it's doing when it ruminates, and that's what we do with our thoughts,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
we regurgitate it into the present moment. We regurgitate the past into the present moment and chew on it.
Yeah. We try to fit it in the box.
Yeah.
You know, we're just trying to fit it in this box that exists now, but it really doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But we keep trying to pull it in that box.
Well, we keep it existing by bringing it into the present moment. We make it exist by holding on to it.
Yeah. Well,
and reliving it. And
not even to mention flashbacks. I mean,
right.
I had a full-blown flashback the other day of something I didn't even see, you know, of Christopher's death, and it was just right there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I, you know, now I can realize that that's a flashback.
Yeah.
It's not real, and but boy, are they powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, you know, I was driving down East Avenue and coming to a stop sign, and I was like, wow, that's a flashback. Okay. And I just, you know, let it go, I guess. I don't know what I did. Just, I didn't put a lot of energy into it. Otherwise, it takes you to not the present.
Right.
Yeah, the skill of letting go, that's really a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one component that can help us with letting go is just forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and having that ability to forgive ourselves.
Yeah. That's what it
you
is.
know,
You know, I've been reading
and
a lot
others.
this week, and it just keeps coming back to self. Like if you are hoping to find a place of peace and joy, and which to me that means evolving, allowing your soul to evolve, then you have to keep working on your inside. You just have to keep going, and that's letting go and forgiveness.
And knowing when to focus and how to focus. Because I feel that part of our cultural issue is that instead of focusing in, we focus out and we're like pointing.
Blame,
it's all your fault.
shame.
If like, what do you say? Like, if that group of people was gone, I would be happy, you know, and we just continue to do this
Forever.
And I feel like what's going on is we're just bored. And our boredom is like, well, shoot, what can I pick on? You know, because we don't have to figure out how to survive. We don't have to go work in the field. We don't have to go chop the wood anymore. You know, there's gas in the city and all this stuff. We don't have to feed the horses so that we can make it to our neighbor's house. Like, our workload of survival is so small right now. And we're just a bored culture.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we're a power-hungry culture.
Yes.
So we're dominated by
plays.
power. And, you know, I think a lot of that power is the masculine. And historically, the masculine story is aggression and dominance. And then you have to other people. You have to imagine that you're better than them. And then you're going to dominate them and take over.
Part of the masculine experience, too, though, is just protecting the tribe.
Yes.
Just saying. You know.
Right. It's especially when you have that tribe. But I think if you don't have the tribe, and well,
then you're just protecting yourself.
Then you're just protecting yourself and creating, I don't know, friction and violence and.
Well, there's the part of just feeling that you're always in danger.
Right. So the beauty is to pull the masculine and the feminine together.
Yes.
And if imagine
within
your tribe is the
ourselves.
world, humanity is the tribe. You know, we like to even live in our own fantasy where we have this really cool tribe of people, and it's true, we do. But the reality is that our real tribe is all humans.
Right.
And how do we have to balance the feminine that pulls us together and the masculine that protects us.
It's interesting. In the Tao Te Ching, it says to be balanced is to, you know, the masculine, so you know the hard, but you stick with the feminine. You stick with the soft and the flowing, and then you have balance.
Wonder what knowing the hard means. I mean, how do you imagine that
Knowing
you know?
to me, knowing the hard, I mean, I relate it to Tai Chi.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So knowing the hard
Being able
is
to
knowing
defend
how
yourself.
to defend yourself. And, even emotionally knowing how to defend yourself, knowing how to defend your people,
right, boundaries.
that whole thing.
Sure.
Because there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah.
But
I think what you just said that I want to talk on is knowing, I don't even remember what you just said right now, but what went through my mind is that when we know how not to get in a fight, how not to be triggered by someone's annoying comment, it's like, okay, that was an annoying comment, instead of like, what?
and you're talking about the Facebook, Pretendville.
Yeah.
Pretendville, right, where nothing's real.
I know.
That
I'm
reminds
so
me
brave
of
on
that one
Pretendville.
movie where the guy, like, everybody is paid to pretend that it's a movie. Oh my gosh. I can't remember that one really funny guy. Anyway.
Adam Sandler? Is he
Nope.
funny?
No, he's funny, but
Good
it
try.
wasn't him. It's the other guy. But the Truman Show.
Yeah.
It's the Truman Show.
Okay.
And they literally, it's this whole fake town all around this guy. And he thinks this is real life.
Yeah.
And then he figures out that he's living on a set. You guys never seen this?
I've heard of it.
It was so good, though. And I feel like that's kind of what Facebook is for us. Like, we think it's so real and so important. And we feel like we have to shove our opinion down other people's throats and think they're going to change their mind.
Right.
And I get caught in it here and there, like 2 times last week. And then you think about it, you ruminate, like, chew that cud, like, keep it present. And it's like,
Well, maybe it's okay, though, if you then can take that and say, why am I triggered?
Yeah.
What is it about me that is triggered? Like, how do I feel about myself right now with that comment? And then work on that, ruminate on that, I guess. Or
try and figure it out.
Try to figure it out.
And it
right.
could be just one of the reasons you're triggered is because you're spending too much time on Facebook.
Right.
And your mind is agitated just because of that.
Right.
But
well, and you kind of feel the divisive kind of energy all around you. So then when you see it, then you react to it because you don't like it. You want it to be different.
Right.
You wish it were different.
Yeah, that's true. I've been really thinking about how Pretendville or Facebook
I like it. Pretendville.
how it really represents. We represent our personal philosophies on that platform, and
More than we would in person.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is I think a lot of people have been indoctrinated into believing the philosophy that you need to attack the evil. You need to attack. And then if you're attacking something, you're doing the right thing. But there's a counter philosophy to that, in that perhaps if we're going to create change, we're going to support the good. Support that change, be the change.
Absolutely.
Which is something I believe in. But it's just interesting when you look at it from a philosophical perspective. I mean, we all have philosophies. It's one thing we don't really talk about much because we assume that,
Right.
It's just, we don't go there.
And they're built from, it's multifactorial. Like our philosophies are from childhood.
Oh, yeah.
To
things that have happened to
things
us.
that have happened, and then to how we've worked through it, what's worked for us creates our philosophies.
Yeah, what the media tells us to,
and then there's that. I mean,
how
I don't
to
even know.
act. And I mean, there's all that part of it too, but it does. I mean, a lot of our philosophy comes back from our ancestors because it's just, it's handed down throughout the ages.
I think there's something to this experience of being a part of our own survival. And when we are not putting that effort in through labor and through collaborative efforts of labor,
Service.
then we have all this time to just debate.
Or, I would challenge everyone to take that time to look in. And I think we've done that, right? A lot of people, a lot of the country during the pandemic has done that and has went in to a deep, uncomfortable place, I think, for a lot of people. It's probably why we're going to witness a lot of depression. Why are people so depressed? It's probably not because of the pandemic.
Isolation.
It's the isolation. And then what are they doing with that? Are they going in? And if you go in, it's
If you
a
go
dark
in,
place.
yeah, if you go in without any guidance,
tools, people, community,
support.
Yeah, community support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if you
couldn't
don't
done
have
this
those
year.
things.
I couldn't have done this year without you guys.
Thank
but
you.
I've been able to just kind of keep digging in and digging in because I have community and tools.
And you can reflect, like, hey, this is where I'm going.
Right.
Instead of just like going into this dark hole of self-judgment instead of self-reflection and how I've done all these things in my life and how could I? There's like the self-loathing.
Right.
And
then I share it.
That's an epidemic, by the way.
Well, I wasn't really talking about you. I was just talking about like the person who doesn't have the support and doesn't have the skills or the tools. Then they're literally suffering with zero help out. I mean, there's helplines.
I mean, the whole idea of the negative self-talk, or you mentioned self-loathing, I mean, that's something that it runs strong in our culture. I mean, that's been part of our cultural training, is to feel, we're not worthy unless we have the A, B, C, D, all these material things, and look a certain way, and blah, blah, blah. And that leads to a lot of negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And what, as far as going in, digging deep inside within ourselves, if we do that in a constructive manner, where we go in there and with the idea that we can reprogram our subconscious thoughts, we can reprogram this, what goes on in our mind, our self-talk. At least somewhat. We for sure can. And
we'll slip back a little bit here and there.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it doesn't
of course.
stick.
Of course, right. We know better. Once you know better, and once you become fairly skillful at that metacognition piece, which is being the witness to your thoughts instead of identifying with your thoughts, at that point you're able to identify when the chatter is unproductive, and you can work against it. You can re-steer it, you can reboot it.
Right.
And then you're empowered.
And it shouldn't be, like, if we talk about the negative self-talk, which is important to kind of get rid of that, but we also don't want to go the other way, imagine if you switch to your ego. Well, it would be kind of switching to ego, like, I'm the greatest. I have all the power.
There's a word that Monte says. I can't remember.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think the negative self-talk is ego talk as well.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's all your ego. Yep. Yeah. It's not your true self.
Right. I mean, we can like kid ourselves. We could be delusional as well. But if we just take it a little bit deeper, a deeper step, let's look at our own souls. Let's look at our own. Yeah. Right. Right. Let's see the souls in each other.
Arrogant.
What was that?
I'm like over here, like there's a word.
Oh, people are arrogant.
That's
we're super arrogant. It's one of our like cultural problems. Is our level of arrogance is just like off the charts. Like, I know the answer to this.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. And you had sent me a text about Richard Rohr saying like the small point, or like we are
point of view comes from a very small point.
Yeah. And that's arrogant.
Yeah.
To think that the whole world revolves around this one point. That we think is the right point. Yeah. Or I point to myself. But it's like, no. If we were all to come together with our human voices and our human perspectives and our human stories and say, every single one of us is right. But without all of our stories together, we won't get the whole truth. We all have our thread of truth and how we wove our story together because of the experiences that we had and so on and so forth. But until we're open to everyone's story, and
you have to see each other.
And the PC crap is bothering me to no end, and we're taught to like, okay, the PC
in school,
is
you have
now
to be PC.
Really?
Oh, sure. Even those terms, to be politically correct. Learn to speak with political correctness.
It changes so fast. How can you like possibly learn it in school and be correct anymore when you get older?
Why should you
point being is that is so limiting. So limiting to say, and the thing that went through my mind is like, there's the politically correct left and the politically correct right. And there's this whole big middle where a lot of us hang out and are afraid to speak because either extreme side will serve us a dish of nastiness that is like painful. And
it's part of the, Richard talks about that a lot, the liberal and the conservative. And it's part of the natural evolution of the soul. And to identify with one end is a natural process of our evolution. And so you start to identify with one end, but then as you evolve more and more, you realize there's so much more than a polar.
Well,
right.
It gets so
because I'm in the middle.
Confusing too, because if you look at the words conservative and liberal, the conservative end of the political spectrum, they're actually not very conservative. They're willing to just blow cash on perpetual warfare. For example, that's not being conservative. And the liberals are supposed to be liberal and open-minded, and then they're kind of not that way either. So it's like, it's a joke.
It's all such a joke.
It is.
And we have to come back to the middle. Because if you think about two sides, right? Even two sides of a tug of war, two sides of a game, at the end where they like,
high five.
High five. Like that's where we need to get to is that high five in the middle. Like the game is over. Well, the game of like sides is over and we have to like shake hands. We have to come to the middle and say, hey, I see you. Good game.
But you're saying we need to respect each other.
Yeah, I'm saying that too.
I mean, really, that's respect. At the end of the game, you say, hey, nice game.
I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw you while we were playing.
Yeah. And I appreciate I respect the effort you've put into this.
Yeah.
And you respect the effort I've put into it. And
we came here, we played a game, and it's over, and now we're seeing, and that's, it goes back to the one point, right? And I just have this vision of everyone's voice being respected, heard, valued, without like, oh God, I can't believe that's what they said. I'm so tired of that. That's so high school, or middle school or whatever you want to say. But if we're going to be mature, right? And we talk about that a lot. Let's be mature. Let's grow up. All of this. We have to say, there's a seat for you at the table. I want to hear what you have to say. I will be open-minded. I'm not going to shoot you down. I'm not going to tell you you're a piece of,
But I mean, if somebody's just spewing out hatred, I mean, there's a point when it's like, well, I've heard enough of that.
Yeah,
sure.
You can try to shift it.
Yeah, I mean, just go hang out with your people. That's cool. I don't really need to be around that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
But if you're invited in.
But I respect them nonetheless.
So Richard talks a lot about Jesus and the table, like the Eucharist and the Last Supper, or that's basically how Jesus spread his message, was going into people's homes and eating dinner with them.
Nice.
And it was and I thought about your house, I thought about all the dinners we've had here and the variety of people. Now, granted, we're a bit like-minded, but still, just the variety of people and experiences that come to the table and share. And
absolutely.
And that's what Jesus did. Plain and simple. That's how he spread his message. And it wasn't his people. It was people who were either suffering below him and had lack of spirit, or it was people who were elite, and he would meet them at their table. Only when
without
he was invited.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I guess to be more clear, it's not just come to the table. It's like, let's come to the table of solutions. And if you have solutions, we want to hear them. But if you just want to tell us about how bad you hate that problem, we don't want to hear it.
Right.
No, that's old. It's boring. That is boring information at this point, because it's just so common.
Yeah.
Well, it's PC. It's totally PC to hate something.
It totally is.
I'm so sick.
That happened.
I don't really know.
Hate become PC.
Yeah, right.
Dang it.
I don't know.
We've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
That's all right, though.
Right. I don't remember.
We see it.
What was it? so there are like societal orders that Richard talks about. Sorry, I'm talking about Richard so much, but I've been consuming.
Totally fine.
Yeah. And the orders are political, religious, economic, and there's a fourth one. But anyways, he compares the time of like the Bible to the time of now. Mm-hmm. And in the time of the Bible, it was religious order, right? It was the family order. Right, that's what kinship. So family and kinship is the fourth one. So at the time of the Bible, it was family and kinship, and that was the order of society. And now our order of society in the United States, not everywhere, but in the United States, is economic. And that's what drives us. It's money and power.
Material possession.
It's material, right. And it's and I even hear very thoughtful people stuck on, but I deserve, but I can work harder to obtain these things that will add value to my life. And I think as a society, that's what we do.
That's so interesting that you say that too. In circles that I run with, we're talking about increasing our spirit and working with spiritual growth and knowing that you deserve it. So it's actually being, I guess it depends on who you are. Again, with a negative ego or the I guess when I mean negative ego, I mean self-loathing,
versus
and the positive ego
the arrogance.
Is the arrogance. So the arrogant people don't need to be telling themselves they deserve anything more, but the people who think that they're lowly do need to tell themselves that they deserve something. Right. But it's not necessarily about material. It's about love, kindness, compassion. I deserve respect. Yeah. These things.
Well, and ultimately too, if we can get to that place of being kind to each other,
that would be so cool. Wouldn't that be great if that was PC? Yeah. Can you imagine?
It probably will be.
I think it will be.
Eventually.
It may not be our lifetime.
Darn it.
I give it 20 years.
But I think even businesses are going to start to do that. I think businesses are going to start to switch to I've been looking into employee wellness, and a lot of businesses are focusing on mental health of their employees, period. Putting lots of energy and time into that. And that, to me, says we want people who can experience peace, love, and joy. And it starts with themselves.
Well, and it does. And the bottom line is that if we can if those are mind habits, if kindness is my mind habit, if love is one of my mind habits, forgiveness is a mind habit, and I apply that to myself and I apply it to the world. And the more that philosophy spreads throughout the world, the more all of us can have good food. All of us can have good clothing. We don't need to hoard that stuff anymore.
Right.
I mean, we can share, and everybody can reap the benefit of
and even
organic food.
Even right now with the pandemic, and when you think about the societal structures, I even at times catch myself feeling guilty for not being a consumer. Because I don't consume. I try to consume very little, and except for food at the co-op.
Yeah, right.
That
Same. It's worth it.
I think it's worth it, but I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah, right.
But our society is built on that. We are told to be consumers, in order to support even Viroqua. I love Viroqua, but even to support Viroqua as a community, I need to be a consumer. There's no other great way to support Viroqua as a community other than to go out and shop, and then we buy things that we don't need.
Well, I mean, we can support the community by sending out good energy as well, and people sense that when you see somebody at let's say a quick trip, and if you're like judging them, they know it. I mean, it's this like beyond words kind of experience. Or if you see somebody and you really appreciate them and you respect them, they feel that as well.
Yeah.
Or you're just open to them being in your presence.
Right.
That's a part of it. This like, the less than.
Yeah.
It's this like, I I can't believe you're in my presence. You're muddying my sphere,
yeah.
you know,
you're
and
all
it's like
harsh.
if we can just like be open,
Yeah.
you know, granted, if there's something really dangerous going on,
Right.
we're not going to just stand there and be like, oh, I'm open, you know, like
Right.
that's
Right,
not what I'm saying.
No.
But I'm saying like if you're going into Quick Trip and you're like, we all have every right to be here, you know,
Yeah.
even the homeless guy standing outside,
Yeah.
you know?
And all of us are miracles for having made it this far.
Yeah.
Even the homeless person, whatever. It's like, wow, what's the secret? We're all
Right.
here still. That's amazing.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, I think about lately, I've been thinking about meth a lot. But that experience, you know, that's a lived experience for somebody right now. And that's where they're at. And,
Yeah.
So true.
And how grateful should we be that they're still here? Right? I mean, that's the darkest of the dark, in my opinion, that I've ever experienced and witnessed. And they're still here. And I'm connecting with them sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, it is. It just gave me goosebumps. Like, I'm just so grateful to be able to connect with them and give just shimmers of hope. And all you have to do is see them and love them.
Right.
That's, you know, and that's the magic of, I think that's the magic of Jesus too. Like, we could say that he performed miracles, but I think what he did was he saw and loved everybody. And I think that was the miracle of Jesus. I'm not sure that there's any more magic than that.
Well,
I agree.
And then when like a healing experience happened, he would say, your faith has healed you.
Yeah.
So he's telling the person that their mind
Yep.
has healed now.
Yep.
Because they were open to
Yeah.
believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
It's the God
Yeah,
spark,
right.
you know?
They believed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
it worked.
Yep.
And so, bam, that's the power of the mind.
Right.
Bam, that's why we don't believe in like sending out hatred to other people. Because that's heavy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to destroy somebody with my mind. I
Well,
mean, what kind
and
of
we
karma
don't-
does that create for myself?
Yeah. I don't think we consciously, and some people do, but I don't think we consciously are sending out negative hate vibes. You know, it's just it's so subconscious. It's so fed
It's
to
projecting
us.
our
It's
wounds.
projecting our
what it
wounds.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one thing Carolyn Mays talks about is the poison darts.
Yeah.
And how we throw them and we receive them without much conscious thought, you know, and any time that we do the point, it's like throwing the dart, you know, and
that just creates more karmic work for
And
them to
pain.
work through and
Yeah.
you.
Yes, exactly.
It's just
yeah. And what is
Time
it?
we
I
get
think
beyond that.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in the Bible. We reap what we sow.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh, yeah.
also there's another one that says, you get tenfold of what you give.
Okay.
So if you give a poison dart and you're just so used to giving them, can you imagine how unhappy, painful, depressing, anxious filled?
It's what we are experiencing
Yes.
right now as a society.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
You know, it
because
really
it's
is.
PC
It's that we're working
to throw
through.
poison darts.
It's karma. It's
yeah.
societal karma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what's our solution? I think I've been complaining a little bit today.
Finding that peace in our minds
Yeah.
and sending out good energy.
Yeah.
And feeling that good
Self-love.
energy. Yeah, right. That's the thing people do not realize is that if I am sending out bad energy, blame, hatred, anger, it's going to get reflected back at me. My mind's going to get in that habit. And then when I make a mistake, which I make plenty of mistakes,
Me too.
boom,
Yep.
I'm going to like hammer myself.
Yep.
And then that's where the self-loathing comes in.
Yep.
And then I just feel terrible. And then I find somebody else to blame for something, and it like takes me out of my own
Right.
self-loathing for a moment.
Right. And
you
right.
can-
It's vice versa.
It's like that
So
mind habit.
if I'm self-loathing and I'm sitting here and I haven't hurt anybody, but I'm just hating on myself, I'm going to send it out. And if somebody sends it in, or I don't know where I was going, but it's vice versa.
definitely
It's
cyclical.
both ways.
Yeah.
It's a flow.
You get caught in those cycles,
Right.
yeah, and then there's whole masses of people just involved with that cycle, and it just leads to misery. It leads to hopelessness. you know, and that's what we're shifting. We are shifting it. There's a whole group of people who don't buy that anymore. And that's who we represent.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's what Jesus represented. I mean, that's what I've been learning. I mean, that's exactly what he represented, is this group of people who were just kind of like, well, this just doesn't work. These pharaohs are hurting us.
Yeah.
And how can we think differently? And then they killed him.
Yep.
Because he was thinking different.
If he died.
Yeah.
Some people say he just went into a yogic trance and then slowed his heart rate down so much. And then they thought he was dead, and then he just walked away, and he saw his buddies the next day. He said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm leaving. See you guys." At least that's one.
Well,
one
I can presume he's dead now.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever
2,000
years
years ago.
I don't know.
There's Baba G.
Yeah, maybe he
That's
turned into
another
Baba G. He took a ship to India and
supposedly
moved
he
into a
learned
cave.
from Baba G. So I don't think he could be Baba G, but he definitely was a student of.
Who knows about all that stuff, though? It's
Yeah.
true. You know, I mean, that's where the arrogance,
Can't
it's
really
like,
know.
Right.
we can believe it, but who knows?
We've got to be open to everything.
Yeah, but we can know the moment. That's why we need to get involved. This is what we can,
Our
I can
experience
really.
can make us believe it. I think that's what the message is so if the only thing we believe is, and I'm going to speak of Jesus because that's what I'm focused on, but if the only thing we can believe is Jesus's message, then practice it and see what your experience in life is. You know, practice his message and then feel the experience. And that's the only way of knowing.
Yeah, and notice.
Yeah.
Notice what's going on.
Notice what happens in your life. Yeah.
You know, and going back to that Tao Te Ching quote of, you know the hard, but stick to the soft, that would be Jesus. You know, he was full of, his message was love and forgiveness. Those are soft and beautiful things.
Yep. Yeah.
So I want to share my solution. Okay, so my solution is that we take time to be still and receive divine love so that we can be full, so that we don't feel empty, so that we're not expecting some other human to fill our void.
Yeah.
And that is super important.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. And we can't be expecting any other human to fill that for us.
No.
And yet we have every ability to do it for ourselves. And at least that's how I feel. And if we are going into the world more full, then one, we know where our boundaries are, and we know what to let in and what not to let in, and we know how to let everyone's voice be heard at the table, but not be a victim or a goo-goo-eyed student,
Right.
you know.
Not idolize.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are whole because we are full, and therefore we can learn without getting caught in someone else's ego or without feeling like all the bad things always happen to me and nobody's giving me the love I need. And
Right.
you know,
Because it's about the divine in yourself.
Yeah.
It's your connection to the divine.
Yeah, and then if you can really sink into that, perhaps you're just far less likely to believe other people's philosophy or the indoctrination.
The indoctrination. It's
You
not even
know,
other people, right? It's
it's like this.
it's the energy of society and of
Part of society. I mean, we
Yeah.
represent part of society too.
yeah, we represent like the center of the balance, you know, where we're like, okay, we see you all over here and we see you all over here. And you can continue to be over there, but it's much more stable in the center.
Feels really good here.
Feels better. Yes.
Yeah.
Back to
Really
the
nice.
back to hedonism.
Yeah.
It does feel much better.
Right.
Just being fulfilled is a great way to it feels really good.
Yeah.
And
It's stable. It's a stable feeling. It's a steady feeling.
balanced.
Yeah.
Yes. Physically,
Because if you're way
emotionally.
on any side, anything could make the scale tip.
Right.
And any emotion, one more poison dart, you're done, you know?
Yeah.
But
And
if
the more
you're
you
in
hold it, the the narrower your swings are going to be, because we're still going to swing in and out.
Oh yeah, that's
and
true.
out. But the more time you can hold that energy,
Yeah.
the fewer and less harsh the swings are into, into a grandiose versus a really, depriving status. So, and it comes through, like you said, it's connecting to the divine in solitude and in silence and in prayer, meditation, contemplation,
yoga, tai chi, music,
art,
lifting weights, carefully,
nature, right? I think
riding your bike, hearing the birds,
Oh, that's one thing really
seeing
interesting
the good.
that Richard talks about is only about 20% of humanity is intuitive. Learns things through intuition and kind of the academic and learning and then intuit and that leaves 80% are sensate, are sensory, are going to be the art, the music, the creation, the feeling the divine energy in nature. Those are going to be more, and I think we hear that a
really
lot.
Interesting.
Right. And that's, in his way, that's one of the ways he feels like the church or Christianity has failed, because we've said that that's not right. That's not how you connect to God. You connect to God with all this order. And
giving us money.
Yeah, and giving us money. Well, that's
how you connect.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue he talks about. But nature and the senses, and so many ways. Find your way.
Yeah, find your way. Use your strengths and use them wisely. And in the process of doing that, of getting into the habit, bam, we're rewiring our neural connections in our brain. There's a physical change that's occurring as we develop these habits, and that's why it just feeds on itself. And the more balanced we can become, the more connected we can become. Bam, the more our brains shift, evolve, and then we just feel different.
The conscious evolution.
We're all going to get there. That's the other thing too.
That's what Buddha says. We're all going to get there. It might take a long time. It might take 100 lifetimes.
It might take
more, and it might have been 100 lifetimes. We might be there. We might be in that.
This might be the lifetime when we collectively take some kind of quantum step into a new type of humanity, a new way of living.
Yeah. I so look forward to 20 years from now, and I pray we're all still here and that we can be like, so.
Yeah, I know.
You remember back in 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
You remember all
Let's
that stuff
reflect
we
a
said?
little. Yeah, I know. I think it would, I do have some people, or basically just one, my dear friend Layla, who's just been on this journey with me forever, or what seems like forever. And we can kind of pass trip and be like, what did you think you wanted then? And we can talk about that. We did this week, like 10 years ago. Where did you think you were going to be? We were able to share that, and then share where we actually are and how close we got to where we thought we were going to be. And so, in 10 years, it'll be fun to see where we are.
Totally.
We'll have a big bonfire in 10 years and hang out with it. Hopefully Kyle's still spinning fire at that point.
Yep.
Probably
in
will
the driftless. Yep. Make sure. Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out and
Corey
to all of our Mindflow radio community out there, and thank you for contemplating with us and holding space for us as we are human as well. And just big thank you. Big thank you for being here. Anyone else have anything else to say to our friends out there?
Just love each other and love yourself.
Yeah, examine your own philosophy, see where you're at, see if it's working for you.
Pay attention.
Yeah. Know that you have a philosophy. That's like step one.
Even if you don't know what it is, know that you have one. It's
right.
And then you can examine it and decide if you still want it.
Right. You can change it.
Yeah, you can change it if you want to. And I can change mine if I want to as well.
Yep.
We're all empowered.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being
Erin.
here, Erin. It was great having you.
Thank you.
Shout out to Viroqua.
Yep. Be well, y'all.
V-Town.
We are about to enjoy an experience together. Monte's going to play some gong, and I'm going to lead a guided meditation. So, if you can, find a comfortable position to either sit up nice and tall, stand up nice and tall, or just sit back and enjoy. Taking a couple deep breaths. Breathing all the way to the bottom back of your lungs, all the way up to the top. And as you exhale and release the breath, be gentle, completely emptying before strain or stress, and then begin your inhale again. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Bring your awareness to the top of the head. Declaring that you are allowing in divine energy, you are allowing in benevolent energy. Anything of your light is welcome. You are declaring discernment and acknowledging what is of your light. And then trusting. Sensing an open window at the top of your head. And this open window has a screen in which the benevolent can move through, and all of the mosquitoes and biting gnats and biting flies and all of that is stuck on the outside. Bringing this benevolent, divine energy in through the top of the head and feeling this in your brain. Allowing every brain cell to be filled with this divine energy. You are receiving. You are being nurtured, cared for, held. And drawing this energy down the spine. Take your time with it. You're not in a hurry. this down all the way to the tailbone, filling your spine with the light and love of the divine. And now bringing this light out to your hands and your feet. Feel the chi move down the arms and the legs, right into the feet and the hands. Filling up, completely feeling fulfilled. Allowing yourself to receive all of the love that you need from the divine source of all creation. You are valued. You are loved. And then bringing your awareness to the third eye between the forehead. Notice what this feels like. Just being aware of the sensations. Imagine that you can breathe in through the third eye, through the brain, all the way to the back of the head, and exhale back to the front of the third eye. Imagine that you are flossing your third eye with breath, and this breath is cleansing and clearing of this space, opening your mind's eye to a greater truth, to a greater sense of being whole. Being a part of the whole cosmos and the whole circle of life. You are interconnected. And from this state of fulfillment and clarity, bringing your hands, palms together at the heart center, thumbs against the breastbone.
Feeling your heart beating in your chest. Feeling balanced. Feeling right meet left, right in the center. Bringing your awareness to the breath. Again, breathing all the way to the back bottom of the lungs. Fully aware of how you feel in this moment. Honoring whatever you feel in this moment. Accepting how you feel in this moment. Know that you can come back here at any time by carving some time into your day and breathing and witnessing, opening to receive, be fulfilled. May we acknowledge the blessings we receive when we give love, when we accept all of humanity as our brothers and sisters. We will not lack, but we will be rich in knowing, in the love, in the camaraderie, and the companionship of our fellow humans. We are all in this together.